E ah e ah e ah. Is the rain coming through? It is raining out, and I have my window open because I like the rain. Is it on my noise floor? Let's be silent. Probably. I started doing research into how to set my levels and what to pay attention to as far as this audio recording equipment goes. Watched 3 hours of tutorials last night, and then at some point I just got into a YouTube hell spiral and found myself just the weirdest it branched off from voice acting training to music recording to music theory. 6 hours later, I'm watching people in pony costumes butt fuck each other, and it wasn't even on YouTube. It was actually in the hallway of my apartment, because that's the kind of place I live. Somewhere I started lying there. Where? Who knows? Ooh, that resolved. See, that's called a resolution. It's hitting on a consonant note, not a dissonant note. A dissonant note would be if it doesn't feel like there's an ending. See right there? See that tension? That tension in the guitar? You're like, go back to, was that a B, C note? C. Playing with a pick. Feels all clicky. Never liked that. I always like the pure funk, like the pure sound of like the fingertips. But you don't get that defined feeling unless you really hit the notes, like. And even then, you hear that slappy noise. Much like the first time I recorded one of these, I don't have anything to talk about. There I am playing with the microphone, making unnecessary noise. There's me clearing my throat again because I'm stupid. That's the things I should do before I start recording, I don't do, and then I do them on the microphone. Hey, hold on for 3 minutes while I take a piss. I'm gonna keep the microphone on and leave the room. That's what I'm gonna do next because I'm a smart broadcaster. And the bass guitar, this is my crutch, isn't it? This is what keeps me from not stop talking. If it was just me here talking, you'd get 48 seconds, and then I would run out of steam. I would tell you about my day, which consisted of nothing, and then I would tell you about my life, which consists of even less. And I would just quit. I would just stop talking, and I would tell you to call me. Just leave a voicemail, and maybe I'll call you back. That's how I should run a podcast. I should just have people call me, and I will reply to you and put it online. I will tell you if you ask any questions. I don't care. Call me up and ask me what groceries you should buy. I'll tell you. It's interesting, isn't it? No. I've got no again, nothing planned. I should have planned something. I almost planned something today. What was I doing? Oh, I was rewriting punchlines to children's jokes. I was trying to, at least. Because children's jokes are great, but you can also just rewrite them. Like, here's one you've heard. What do lawyers wear to court? A lawsuit. Here's my answer. What do lawyers wear to court? Wherever they want. And then I wrote down about 5 more, and I came up with no punchlines, because I really didn't put a lot of effort into that. So we could try to make one up right now. What building has the most stories? The library. Immediately I want to make a 9/11 joke, but I don't know what else to do with that. So I'll play an octave. And I'll try not to breathe in a microphone like a savage. See, that's a resolve again. If I do that, maybe people will listen to me for longer than 4 minutes before just bailing out. Like, what? Weird dude from high school's making a podcast? I'll listen for 13 seconds. Yep, he's still weird as shit. Still a fucking loser. So, now that he's bombing out in his early 30s and life has become uninteresting, now he's going to reach out through the magic of audio. I wish I wouldn't have stuttered through that. That might have actually sounded all right, but I stutter a lot because I don't usually think before I talk. I just have an idea halfway through a sentence, and I just kind of push through the rest, and I come through some stumbling blocks. And then eventually just become a singer. Should I just play a whole song? Because really, I could just do this. This is Public Image. The whole song is just this bass line, and I know the words. So why wouldn't I? Why would I tease you like this? Because I'm a cruel, cruel person. I mean, I can be. Because why not? That's kind of fun. I worry about the sound of my voice. I'm like, this looks like a good voice. Is this an interesting voice, or is this just like your burnout rock and roll friend who thinks he's funny but is just kind of a prick? Thinks he's funny, but he's not. But we hang out with him because he knows how to play guitar and we can smoke weed in his basement. That's who I am. Or my fingers hurt. I'm not singing that song. I might later. Maybe if I would have done some stretches today or some, anything to prepare for this, anything would have been better than what's going on right here. I want to not just do this bass thing. 2 reasons. Like, I want to try to actually have an episode of this where I actually talk like a real radio person with confidence and a fucking personality and who does prep and prepares. That's reason 1. But I also want to not do this, because this is a crutch. But it's also a little interesting, because who else does this shit? Who else plays guitar, while talking, and not doing either very well, but still trying to pull it off? Who still has his microphone levels that are just awful, picking up every time I snort, and... if I would have worked out for 12 minutes, I would actually be breathing properly instead of this half of, I'm like a fucking, I don't even know the word. What's that? Oh, dude, that's it. It's over. It's this 8.5 minutes in, I'm done. Have you? It's not the sound of silence. This is the sound of dumbass. See, if I would have wrote like 3 more jokes from like children's stories, I might have something to talk to you about here. Let's try another one. What did bacon say to tomato? Let us get together. So that's a pun. That's a wordplay, fun pun, food joke. What did bacon say to tomato? I'm a dead pig. That's not even funny. It's a little dark. It's not really a punchline there. It almost works like a joke if you're just a cruel person. Which is me and all my asshole friends that used to hang out at a meth house. That's how I spent my high school years. Failing everything and hanging out at a meth house. Because that is life. For some of us. And I never did meth. Never. That's a helicopter sound, isn't it? Not really. It's more like it. That's what Jimi Hendrix did at Woodstock. Then he started doing this shit. That's the sound of Asian children getting bombed in Vietnam. That's what he did when he played the Pledge of Allegiance. Go listen to it. That's exactly what he did. And like sounds of bombs and shit, like. But he wasn't playing a bass. He was playing a real guitar, like a man who knew what he was doing on the fretboard. I switched to bass a few years ago. I used to play it a lot when I was a teenager, but I always borrowed one. Never had one of my own, and then finally, 2015 or 16 or one of those years that I have lost all memory of because I did nothing with my life. I was sitting around with a couple $100 and thought, I would like to play bass today. So I went and bought one. That's what happens when you don't spend your money on stupid shit. And here I am years later, with no money and a bunch of stupid shit. Like a bass guitar. I don't make smart decisions. I'm trying to learn finances. I've been watching a lot of videos on YouTube. I watched, what's his name? Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That guy, whatever his name is. He did an interview. Another one from that guy that wrote that book. I hope they serve beer in hell or whatever. Tucker or something, Max. Yeah, I'm trying to learn finances. I don't know. I figure as long as I'm going to try to start a business, per the shit I was saying in episode 1, if you didn't listen to that, go listen to subscribe and all that. Dude, if you don't know how podcasts work right by now, or the internet, or YouTube, just get off. Like, there's no reason anybody on the internet anymore should ever ask you to subscribe to their shit. It made sense the first time. The first time someone made a YouTube channel and had to point out there's a subscribe button. All right, it makes sense. Now, whenever I hear that, I feel like I'm getting talked down to. Like, I'm not watching YouTube 14 hours a week like a sad, lonely fuck. That's all everybody does. The whole country does, okay? Or you go on Pinterest or whatever, you know. Everything's got a subscribe. Everything's got an email blast list, you know. I get spams all day long from people trying to, like, get me to subscribe to their master class because I thought copywriting would be cool. And a week later, I was like, that's a dumb idea. I'm never doing that. Here I am 6 months later with 9 copywriters still trying to talk to me. Hey, Adam, come visit my talk on Google Talks. No, go shut up. Make me laugh or make me something. But don't, I don't know. Business sucks. I'm not a business guy. I come from a fucking, well, not I come from one, but I hang out at crack houses. That's the kind of guy I am. I'm from the fucking streets. Not a lot of them. I come from 8x7 blocks in the middle of a cornfield. But if you walk around those streets and then go walk around the inner city, kind of looks the same. It's kind of the same thing. A lot of poor people that are hurting, doing drugs, sitting around with their window open listening to the rain because they're sad and lonely playing bass guitar. Did I just get a little personal there? I don't know. Maybe I should. You want to hear some personal things about me? It's called a hammer-on. It's your music lesson for the day, you fuck. For all you fuckers out there that picked up a guitar for fucking 3 weeks in 9th grade. Got me all excited about the world, like, I'm gonna get out of this town and I'm gonna be the next Pantera, and then you fucked off. No, you know what, I've been in bands, and it doesn't. The problem is that I don't get along with anybody. That's the problem. I want, like, every new person that's into creative things, you have a vision, you have your voice, and you want your shit heard. And for better or worse, usually worse, that shit comes out the wrong way. And so everybody I've ever worked with has had their vision, and I didn't respect that shit years ago. I didn't know how to. I didn't know how to look at somebody and be like, oh, good point. We should A, B, C, D, E, whatever the project was. I was always too much in my own head. I was always thinking about what I wanted to accomplish. You know, and then eventually I just had to go my own way because I've just fucking it didn't go well. And I did. I mean, I made albums. I wrote a bunch of shit. You know, I made a film or two when I was in school. Why do I feel like I'm out of breath? I got a weird, it's tension, isn't it? Because I'm peeling the mask back a little bit here, getting a little not really that personal. It's not really that fucking deep, but it's weird. Usually I don't know, talking to myself, that's the weird part of here. But I'm talking to you, my listener. If you're going to be in broadcasting, you should picture one person in your mind like a muse and pretend you're talking to that person the whole time. This is broadcasting voice. Hello. I used to do a Tom Brokaw impression. My mom likes it. I don't know how to do it anymore. I'm gonna prepare for that. I'm gonna do that next time. I'm gonna try to do some impressions. I'd feel bad about promising that. But, I went my own getting back to what I was just talking about, I went my own artistic route a few different ways. Accomplished a bunch of shit I set out to accomplish years ago. I recorded a Ramones album last year. That was cool. I listen to that shit like every week still. I'm still happy about it. But that'll go away. And at some point, I would like to use my creative mind in service with others and come up with something like, say, a band or writing, sitcoms in a fucking writer's room, sitting around throwing jokes at each other. That's still the dream. Does any of that ever happen, or do I live in this fucking little small town the rest of my life? Stay tuned. Because I got a feeling I'm not doing a lot, but the little I'm doing you're gonna hear about every episode. Because I got a big old dick. That shouldn't have been said, but, sometimes you gotta throw that in there. Keep people in line. Let them know you got a big old dick. So here's public image. You never listen to a word that I said. You only see me for the clothes that I wear. Or did the interest go so much deeper? It must have been the color of my hair. The public image is what you want, it was never made clear. Behind the image holds ignorance and fear. You hide behind this public machine, still follows same old scheme. Public image. Public image. The two sides to every story. Somebody had to stop me. I'm not the same as when I began. I will not be treated as property. The public image. Two sides to every story. Somebody had to stop me. Not the same as when I began. It's not a game of Monopoly, yeah. The public image. The public image. The public image, you got what you wanted. The public image belongs to me. It's my entrance, my own creation, my finale, my goodbye. Public image. Public image. Public image. Public image. Goodbye. Ugh. I wasn't a fan of that. It was fun to get it out. That's a warm-up jam. But as before, I have not. Why am I apologizing? I shouldn't have played it if I didn't want to, but I did. I'm just sitting over here self-conscious. Like, I didn't put my voice into that, my diaphragm. Blah, blah, blah. Trying to make excuses where I shouldn't, where there's no need for it. There's a need for excuses at the excuse factory. Yes, that's one more child's joke. Should I try to come up with one? Why is England the wettest country? Because the Queen has reigned for years. And it's also full of a bunch of cunts. I don't know. There's no reason or ending or excuse for that. Oh my god, yeah, I did live in England for a while. Hey, that might be cool to talk about, but nah, fuck it.